हरि ओम् नमः सर्वेभ्यः संस्कृतप्रथमकक्षार्थं सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतम्. Hello everyone, welcome you all for the first session of online Sanskrit classes. My name is Ashok. I will be conducting these classes over Skype. So before we get started, I just wanted to give a brief introduction about the course. So this course is designed for the beginners. So those who have very less knowledge in Sanskrit or the people who look forward to learn something new in the language. Basically, this course is for the beginners. So those who want to get step into the Sanskrit, then this is the right course for you. So this course is designed to in such a way that it starts from basics. I will cover a little bit of Devanagari script because I expect at least you people will be aware of basic Devanagari script. So with that assumption, I'm not going to spend much time on script, but language wise, I will start from the basics. So this course is at 6 months. It's planned for 6 months. So what we learn in that 6 months is the basics of Sanskrit. So with the knowledge which you gain with this through this course, you will be able to understand Sanskrit conversations, and also you will be able to make simpler sentences yourself without any grammatical errors. So the basics of Sanskrit will be covered in 3 to 4 months. So with that you can make simple sentences with present tense, past tense, and future tense, and recused order, or most of basic conversational words and sentences will be covered, and you will get confident yourself that you can talk in Sanskrit. That's one. And you will be able to understand shlokas or any such verses with a little help from others at the end of the session. And then next 2 months, I just plan to have a small important things which are necessary uh, and which is above the basics of Sanskrit, which needs a knowledge of basics of Sanskrit. And with that base, we will learn little advanced topics in the next 2 months. So that is how the this 6 months is planned. Okay, and as this is a Skype session, you can ask questions at any time, and you can interrupt me and ask questions at any time of you. Uh, or you can even ask at the emails, or you can message me at any time if you have any questions on these topics. And as it is a group call over Skype, I request everyone to mute your microphones once you join the call, unless you are really going to ask something. So this will avoid lot of interferences from your side, so others can really focus on the session. And my request to all of you is at least spend 15 minutes per day for Sanskrit. With that 15 minutes, you can just work out the exercises which we will be discussing in the class. At the same time, you can even make your own sentences, or you can read something in Sanskrit. So basically, you can dedicate 15 minutes a day for Sanskrit. That really, though it is lesser duration, that really impacts a lot. And do not hesitate to speak in Sanskrit. So as this is a Sanskrit class, I want everyone to try speaking in Sanskrit if you know. So even if you know very little words or very less words, if you know in Sanskrit, just try to use those words and convey your message in Sanskrit. So that really helps building of your foundation in Sanskrit. So this is what all about the course, and let's get started with introduction. So why do you want to learn Sanskrit? So I have posted this question in the registration form. I got most of the answers I got from registration form. You people like to read shlokas, verses, and all Sanskrit related materials, literature. So that's wonderful. And there are a lot of other reasons like it is a most beautiful language and it's very well structured, and the people who like logics, they'll really like this language, and it's a very interesting language as well. And it also helps in understanding the culture and knowledge of ancestors. So entire knowledge of our ancestors are hidden in Sanskrit. If you open that Sanskrit container, you will be able to gain the knowledge of them. So that is the one reason to learn the Sanskrit and read Sanskrit literature through Sanskrit. So all we do right now is we read Mahabharatam or Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, everything we heard or we read in our own mother tongues or the languages which we are comfortable in, but not in Sanskrit. So there will be always loss of message, a loss of content happens when you translate the material to other languages. The any material which you read from its source, you will be able to perceive complete meaning or complete message of that uh, article or literature. So that is why if you learn Sanskrit, you will be able to gain complete knowledge of Sanskrit literature instead of reading translated versions. And most of the Indian languages, if you observe the phonetics and the sentence structure and many words, they are all from Sanskrit. So that is why we call Sanskrit as a mother of all languages in India, especially. So once you know Sanskrit, you can easily learn any language because you know the structure of the language, and you know how the words are formed, how the sentences are formed. So with that knowledge, you can learn any languages very quickly. So that is one advantage if you learn Sanskrit. And next is for generally in Indians, they don't feel difficult in learning Sanskrit. That's because 60 percentage of vocabulary in any language of India, they are from Sanskrit. So that is why they don't feel difficulty in understanding Sanskrit language and also learning the Sanskrit language. Okay, so how do we start? How do we get started with the Sanskrit? Start speaking with known words. So even though it is a first session, we'll be discussing most of the things in English. But going forward, we'll be learning smaller words in Sanskrit. So you people can use those words while conversing further. So even if you don't know full sentence, the whichever words which you know, please use those words in Sanskrit. That is very good start to speak in Sanskrit. And after speaking, you can start read. After that, you can start learning about how to read or how to write. Because speaking is very important. Because when we were babies, when we born, we learned our mother tongue just by hearing and just by responding back. We didn't know we didn't know how to read our mother tongue and write when we were kids. we learned over the period. But the first we learned was the speaking, and whichever you learn through listening or speaking, becomes really a very strong foundation for any language than reading and writing. So our first focus is to speak out Sanskrit, and we'll also focus on reading and writing part of it also. Okay, so here that's all about the introduction. We will get started with the script of Sanskrit. So Sanskrit uses the script called Devanagari, which most of you people are aware of it. Devanagari is a common script which is used by many languages in India, and the same script is being used for Sanskrit as well. So here in this class, I'm just going to briefly give the introduction about Devanagari script in the perspective of Sanskrit. So, what are letters there in Sanskrit, and how we represent those letters in Devanagari? Only those that we are going to look into this. So, Devanagari even offers a lot of other pronunciations. We are not going to look at those things. We are just going to focus only what Sanskrit what only Sanskrit pronunciation and their representation in Devanagari. Okay, so the script is divided into two parts, the vowels and consonants. And let us start with vowels. So the whatever listed in the screen, they are the vowels. They are the all vowels, and the table is divided into two columns, except the last line. The table is divided into two columns. The left hand side is short vowels, and right hand side is long vowels. The short vowels which we just pronounce as a very short period of time, and long vowels will pronounce double the time of short vowels. So let me go through these letters. A, A, I, I, U, U, Ru, 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 Ye, I, O, Au. So these are the pronunciations, and here to thing to observe is Rukara Ru doesn't have long vowel. At the same time, A, I, O, Au, they don't have short vowels. So let me read it again. A, A, I, I, U, U, Ru, 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 Ye, I, O, Au. That's all. So these remaining two letters, these are called Aha, but the pronunciation varies. We will see how to pronounce later these two letters. So let me get started with the other set of letters. So whatever we have seen till now is the vowels, and whatever we are going to see now is consonants. The consonants, whatever shown in the table, it is categorized by rows. There you can find 5 rows, and each row is identified with the first letter of that row, like Ka series, Cha series, Ta series, Ta series, Pa series. So the first letters are Ka, Cha, Ta, Ta, Pa. Okay. And the columns, first two columns are the odd, hard consonants, and the second two columns are soft consonants, and last column is Anunasika. See, these are the names, nasal vowels. So let me read out these letters: ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, cha, cha, ja, jha, nya, ta, tha, da, dha, na, ta, tha, da, dha, na, pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. So again once more: ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, cha, cha, ja, jha, nya, ta, tha, da, dha, na, ta, tha, da, dha, na, pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. So as I said earlier, first two columns are odd consonants and second two columns are soft consonants, and last column is nasal letters. And the first column is called as, in the first two columns is hard consonants, and even the first column is called as Alpa Prana and second column is called as Mahaprana. So all letters have two columns. The first column is Alpa Prana and second column is Mahaprana. And similarly, the soft consonants have two columns. First column is Alpa Prana and Mahaprana, and the last column is Anunasika. So other than these, say, group, there are other letters like Ha, Ya, Va, Ra, La. So these are the other letters, and also we have Sa, Sha, Sha. So again once more: Ha, Ya, Va, Ra, La, and Sa, Sha, Sha. So only these are the total vowels and consonants in Sanskrit, and we will see how do we use these together in the words in the next slide. So if you take any consonant that cannot be used alone, it must be joined with vowel to make sound, to pronounce that. So let me take ik. Ik is a ka. We have seen this ka we have seen. So the actual letter is ik. Ik we can take, and if you add the vowels with ik, then that ik becomes pronounceable. Example: ik plus a becomes ka, and ik plus a becomes ka, ik plus e becomes ki, ik plus e becomes ki, ik plus u becomes ku, ik plus u becomes ku, ik plus ru becomes kru, ik plus ru becomes kru, ik plus ru becomes kru, ik plus a becomes k, ik plus I becomes kai, ik plus o becomes ko, ik plus au becomes cow. So basically it is pronounced as ka, ka, ki, ki, ku, ku, kru, 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 ke, kai, ko, cow. In the script wise also there will be little smaller symbols added after ka that signifies the pronunciation, like a small vertical line becomes a, ka becomes, and a small tan like this becomes a ki, and the right hand side becomes ki and ku, ku. So you can observe small symbol is added to the ka that gives a different pronunciation. So other than that, we have also seen there are two letters and aha, and that we will see now. Like is nothing but a anuswara, which is nothing but a dot kept above a vowel. So here if you see ka, ka, ki, ki, so these letters have vowel associated with it, like ik plus a, and after a there's a dot. So the pronunciation of this letter will be come, kam, kim, kim, kum, kum, krum, 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 came, came, comb, comb. So there will be a makara sound will be added at the end. It is anuswara. It is called as anuswara. And similarly, there are two dots kept next to the letter, that is called visarga. So the visarga pronunciation repeats the previous vowel sound. Basically, kaha, kaha, kihi, kihi, kuhu, kuhu, kruhu, 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 kehe, kaihi, kohu, kauhu. So it repeats the previous pronunciation of the vowel, and it is signified with two dots next to the letter, and that we call it as visarga. So if we take a consonant ik, it has these three different sets of forms which you can get. And similarly for all the consonants, whatever we have learned in this page, for every consonant we can frame those set of letters, and the pronunciation varies accordingly. And next is we can see some few examples. Ramaha, Deshaha, Kumaraha, Vatika, Gati, Phalam, Ganeshaha, Ishaha, Chatraha. So these are the very simple words which just joins whatever letters we learned, kaka, kiki. So those letters are joined together to make a word. And next is there are, in Sanskrit you can observe there are two different consonants are joined together to make a sound. Example, how do we join? There are certain rules by which we can join. Vertical stroke at the end. For example, if letters which have vertical stroke at the end, like ka, ga, ga, ta, and lot of other letters also we have a vertical stroke next to letter, like these, right? So in these cases, the vertical stroke goes off and next letter comes in that place. Example, qua, gua, gua, twa. The vertical, instead of vertical stroke, the wa gets replaced. That means the previous letter should be pronounced off and next letter full, like qua, gua, gua, twa. And similarly, the next rule is vertical stroke in the middle. The examples are ka and pa. Vertical stroke in the middle. Here, vertical stroke will not get cancelled. The next up, the part which is after vertical stroke, that will be replaced by the next letter. Example, qua, qua. Okay, and little part is cut, and instead of that part, the new letter comes here. That's the thing to observe. And next is we have other many letters like with round shape letters like cha, da, da, ha, ta, and lot more also we have. So on those letters, the next letter will come below the letter, or we can put a strike below it and write the next letter. So you can write anyway. Most of the times, if you in the printed materials, you can observe next letter comes below these round shape letters. And there is a special representation for Ra, like Refa it is called. If R is a off letter and next there is a consonant, and the R pronunciation, R symbol becomes a small arc above the next letter, like Irga, like Varga, and similar Irka. So Ir, a small arc above the Ka. So that means that R is a off letter and Ka is a full letter. And similarly, if refa comes after the consonant, example ik plus r, a small stroke is given below the ik. So here ik stroke is different and ra stroke is different. So it is pronounced as kra, and iv plus ra vra, and ig plus ra gra. Hope you got the differences. And there are some special letters which doesn't have these rules applied, like it plus ra tra, it is represented like this, and ij plus nya becomes nya, and ik plus sha becomes sha, and ish plus ra shra, and it plus ta itta. And the examples for off letters like pushpam, where sha is off, and pustakam, where sa is off, and dwaram, where da is off, and vakra, there's a r is off, ka is off, and droni, there is a da is off letter. And there are words with special letters like tra, netram, and jnanam. Nya is a special letter here, and kshanam, sha is a special letter, and shravanam, shra is a special letter, and uttamam, itta is a special letter. Special letter means the form of that letter is different, but it also it is also combination of two consonants, like it plus itta becomes itta, but it is represented like this. Okay, that's all about these letters here, and hope there are no questions. Let me go ahead to the next section. I have covered this script part very fast because I expect all of you have already have little knowledge of Devanagari script. That is why I'm not going in very deep. I'm just giving an overview about the script. Okay, let me get started the next one. It is the first sentence. So this is a very interesting area which we are all waiting for. So how do we make first sentence in Sanskrit? So it's completely a new language. How do we start with first sentence? So if you meet anyone, you generally start with hi, how are you, what is your name? So this is what. So we'll start with what is your name. So the answer could be maybe instead of going with the question, I'll first start with the answer. Answer would be my name is Ashok. This is the answer which you will be giving. So if you want to translate this to Sanskrit, let us first ignore all the uh, grammatical terms in English. Like if you are translating from English to Sanskrit, let us ignore the grammatical terms like is, was, am, were, have, has, had. So all these words will we ignore. We'll take only the core words like my name Ashok. We'll ignore is. So it just becomes like this, my name Ashok. So now you can translate each word to Sanskrit. My becomes mama, name becomes nama, and Ashok remains same. But here there is small change. It has become Ashokaha. That we will see later why it has become. Okay, my becomes mama, name becomes nama, Ashok becomes Ashokaha. So here mama nama Ashokaha. So here in Sanskrit, important thing to observe is there is no significance in the word order. You can put words in any order. Like you can say mama nama Ashokaha, Ashokaha mama nama, mama Ashokaha nama. So you can put these in any order which conveys the same meaning. But except there are scenarios where we cannot interchange the words. Those we will see later, but for now as a beginners you can think that you can put the words in any order that conveys the same meaning. And what is your name? If the next is how do we make question for this? So again, as I said earlier, we have to remove all the grammatical terms. Here we have is, and we'll remove that. It becomes what your name. So what your name, we know the translation for name, it is nama, and what and your is the new words. The what is called as kim, and your is bhavataha, and name is nama. Kim bhavataha nama. Though the Sanskrit you can put words in any order, but there is a, while speaking there is a particular order in which we speak. So here in this case we use bhavataha nama kim. The generally question comes at the end. Your name what? So bhavataha nama kim. Your name what? And mama nama Ashokaha. So what is your name? So the same, what is the question? Where is, if you are asking to a female person, like bhavataha becomes bhavatyaha. Bhavataha means your, that is a masculine version of your, and bhavatyaha is the feminine version of your. If you are asking to a female, you have to use bhavatyaha nama kim. So here only 3 sentences we learned as part of this page. The first is mama nama, and second is bhavataha nama kim, bhavatyaha nama kim. The new words are mama means my, and nama is name, kim means what, bhavataha is your in masculine version, and bhavatyaha is your in feminine version. So maybe we can do a small exercise. You can introduce your name, you can introduce yourself in Sanskrit like with mama nama, and you can say your name, and you can probably ask me what is my name. Make sense? Okay, let's try it out. Okay, let's get started with the next section. In this section, we will learn very important pronouns, which is basically used, very basically more frequently used pronouns in Sanskrit. So in English, they are called as he, she, and that. And the same is called as saha. Saha means he, and after saha, like example, we'll take saha Ramaha. He is Ram. So again, is goes of he Ram. So if you translate, he becomes saha, and Ram becomes Ramaha. So saha Ramaha, he is Rama. Saha Ganeshaha, he is Ganesha. Saha Yuvakaha, he is young boy. Saha Bhaktaha, he is devotee. Saha Devaha, he is God. So Saha means he, and all the other words either they specify the name of that person or something related to that person. Either it may say his profession, or it may say his characteristic, or it may say his name. Any of these. Okay. Next thing here to observe is next word is she. The word for she is sa. Sa Sita. She is Sita. Sa Mala. She is Mala. Sa Mahila. She is lady. Sa Devi. She is Devi. Sa Yuvati. She is young lady. So that is how it comes, and that is represented as tat. Tat means that. Like all other things, like neuter things, you can use tat. Tat pushpam. Tat phalam. Tat pustakam. Tat vastram. Tat dwaram. So tat pushpam, that is flower. Tat phalam, that is fruit. Tat pustakam, that is book. And tat vastram, that is cloth. Tat dwaram, that is door. Okay, so here you can observe, for he we will use saha, and for she we will use sa, and for that we will use tat. So saha, sa, tat, these are the very important pronouns we generally use most of the times in Sanskrit. And the exercise is, we can use saha, sa, tat, and you can say any name or item after that. You can say, you can basically, this for, to begin with, we can take your friend's name. You can tell your friend's name or your parents' name or relations, anybody's name, and you can put appropriately the saha or sa. Like saha, you can say saha Ganeshaha, saha Ramaha, saha Krishnaha, saha Ashokaha. You can put any name, and before that you can use the corresponding pronoun for that. Shall we try? Okay, so that's all for the first day. The summary for the day is, uh, how do we introduce ourselves with a name? Like we have seen Mama Nama, Bhavataha Nama, Bhavatyaha Nama. Correct? And Kim is the word used to ask a question like what. It means what. Like Bhavataha Nama Kim, Bhavatyaha Nama Kim, Mama Nama Ashokaha. So these are the three examples which you have seen, and we have also practiced in the session. And next is few pronouns we learn like he, she, and that. It is same as saha, sa, tat. Like saha Ramaha, sa Sita, tat Pushpam. And to begin, for any beginners, if you want to say saha yuvakaha, saha bhaktaha, so you want to know the what is devotee in Sanskrit, what is God in Sanskrit. You want to have a uh, basically you want to know the vocabulary in Sanskrit, right? So you can probably use the dictionary, online dictionary, spokensanskrit.de, so through which you can find most of the commonly used words from English to Sanskrit. You can find the translation, and similarly the vice versa, Sanskrit to English. So probably we'll see tomorrow how do we use how to use this dictionary. So maybe if, till that you can have a look at that dictionary. So that is what for today. And if you have any questions, you can mail me or you can ask me online. And thanks for attending the session. Dhanyavadaha.